3000 BC, approximately 650 years before the Great Flood, a man and his daughters are on the run from someone who they describe is capable of killing them as easily as breathing. And there is nowhere in the town they can possibly hide from him. So, the father instructs his daughter to gather only what they can carry as they are fleeing immediately from the town. But they'll need a bodyguard for this journey, and the father knows just the man. Entering a nearby tavern, he demands to speak to the warrior known as Erg. He is met with resistance from the tavern keeper at first, who states there is no one by that name within the area, leading to the father becoming very impatient and uncertain that Erg is real and he is willing to pay him for a job. And at the sound of a paying job, Erg firmly introduces himself to the man and his family. But before accepting the job, he states he wasn't born yesterday and is not taking their money unless they share all the details, which the father is reluctant to share, but one of his daughters blurts out that it's because no man could stand up against a Nephilim, adding that the father didn't want to tell Erg that in case he might turn out to be a coward. Erg commends the daughter for appealing to his ego and asks for the name of the supposed Nephilim that is chasing them, and the daughter says he's called Zeus. At the sound of that name, Erg immediately lets them know that his answer is no, because if Zeus is after them, they have already lost. The father offers to pay him double the original price, but Erg still refuses, telling them no sane man has ever faced off against Zeus alone and hoped to live, recounting that he was at the Battle of Lagash and saw firsthand the sheer power of a Nephilim like Zeus. He cleaved men in two with only one hand on his sword, battered them like flies, and then even the lightning seemed to be his to hurl against his enemies. For Erg, there are times when even he has to draw the line against impossible odds, and this is one of them. But the father offers to pay even more, and Erg reluctantly takes the gig. He then loads them up on the back of his behemoth for the journey, but before leaving, Erg bows at his altar, telling them that he is not going up against Zeus without seeking the blessings of the gods. And one of the daughters asks him, "You bow to stones and wood, not the god of Adam?" To which Erg responds, "You still believe in those old stories? It's the 10th century. Adam is dead, and so are his tall tales of a lone god responsible for all creation." Back at the tavern, none other than Zeus approaches the keeper, telling him that he is looking for a young woman with fiery hair, and a man on the road said he had seen her in said tavern, though confessing that after Zeus ripped off his arms. But the tavern keeper, Zeus demands to know where did the girl go. As Erg and the family continues their journey, they embark on the serpent route on the way to their destination. But while going down the serpent route, they are ambushed by thieves demanding that they stop the cart, surrender, and maybe live to see another day. But Erg refuses to surrender and fights off the thieves with the help of the father and John, one of the daughters. But Ada, the other daughter, who Erg told to take the reins when the thieves attacked to help fight them off, is about to steer them right off a cliff as she doesn't know how to steer a behemoth, leading to Erg saving them all just in time from running off the cliff. Later that evening, the group sets up camp for the night with Ada cooking up a behemoth egg for dinner. Elsewhere on the Serpent Road, Zeus follows the same trail that Erg and the family took, leading to him being ambushed by the same thieves, which was the greatest mistake yet, as we end this issue with all of them getting pummeled and their life scared out of them by Zeus. And with that, let's put Erg the Battler issue 1 on our Christian fiction judgment scale. For the story, I'll give it a 4 out of 5. It's a solid first issue that definitely has me excited to see where the story goes over the next couple of weeks as we cover all 4 available issues. As per any Evan David book, which if you may not know, especially if you're new here, I am his self-proclaimed #1 fan. And as always, with all the books we have covered from him so far, the dialogue was a lot of fun to read through. I did gloss over a lot of it as I do with these types of videos, but from the bar scene to the robbery to the dispute over the behemoth eggs, there wasn't a dull moment at all in this issue, and I have no complaint or anything to knock about it really. It's a solid first issue, and I'm excited to see where it goes, especially with Zeus. When it comes to artwork and creativity, it's a 5 out of 5 on our scale. While compared to other comic panels from books we have covered, it will land around 3.5 or 4. It makes up for it when it comes to the execution of the concept for me, to be honest. An Anti-Diluvian transporter style story is a solid and unique concept I haven't come across before, and so far it's off to a solid start. If anyone knows of anything like that out there, then do let me know, because this is the only one of its nature that I know about, especially in the Christian fiction theme genre. Which leads right into our next category, theological basis, which refers to how well Christian principles, theology, and scripture are adapted into a piece of Christian fictional work, and I'll be omitting this section for this issue at least. Though Adam and God and idol worship and Nephilim and behemoths, which I know in some Christian sects behemoths are referred to as dinosaurs based off of the book, what was mentioned of them in the book of Job, and they believe that dinosaurs existed in the time of Adam. I don't have a take or perspective on that, but when it comes to theological basis for this issue, there wasn't much for me to really assess or make a judgment on. I mean, that is kind of the common case for most of the first 2 to 3 issues of Evan David's books anyway. But when it actually reaches that point where it's applicable, all I'm gonna say is I don't think he has missed yet or has scored anything less than a 4.5. I think most of the books we've covered from him is a 5 out of 5 when it comes to theological basis, because dude, I can't stop singing Evan David praises in that regard. It's been top tier every single time. When it comes to my enjoyment and how likely I am to recommend it, I think you could guess the score. It's a 5 out of 5. So overall, Erg the Battler issue 1 gets a 4.6 out of 5 from the Xplanations. If you're wondering why it's not a 5 out of 5, it's because Evan David on our Christian fiction judgment scale is pretty much competing with himself, as 6 of the comics on our current top 10 list were written by him. So while this was a solid issue and a fun story that I really recommend, it doesn't crack my top 10 or even top 15 of the comics we've covered so far on the channel, which I believe in the top 15 Evan has 9 out of the 15. But let me know what you think of the comic based on what was discussed in the comments below. Do you agree with me or have a different take than I do? Link to purchase the comic will be in the description, as well as a link to Evan David's Patreon, which he states is the best way to support him if you like his awesome work. If you enjoyed the video, then why not consider leaving a like on it and subscribing for more reviews and coverage of comics made by professing believers. If you enjoyed the video to the point you want to check out another one on the channel, then be sure to click the card at the top right hand corner of your screen to check out our other Erg the Battler reviews, or check out our interview with Evan David himself on the 8th episode of the Kiddushim Initiative podcast, where he even reveals why he chose the name Erg for the protagonist of the series.